Okay, so this week you have a hoja de trabajo, a worksheet that I want you to do having to do with indirect, direct, and reflexive object pronouns. As you can see here, this term we have learned reflexivos, and we've learned indirectos, and we've learned directos. And so now I'm sure that they might be spinning all around in your head and you're wondering which ones to use. So please remember that the reflexive object pronoun is used when we do something to or for ourselves. So to whom or for what, like it could be uh, an object that does something for itself, although it's not as common in what we studied. Número dos, indirectos. We learned that we can do something to or for somebody or something. And we learned directos, which is literally direct. You notice that there's no here. We say what or who. What or who. Okay? And if you look at this carefully, really the only ones that are going to change are this bottom rung here for the third person. So when it's a direct object pronoun, we have lo, la, los, las. And when it's indirect, we have le and les. And when we put these together, when we put, for example, le, lo, or le, la, or le, los, or le, las, we can't do that in Spanish. So in that case, this indirect object pronoun changes to a se. So we say celo, cela, celo, celas. Notice that this is still an indirect object pronoun, this se. It's not a reflexive object pronoun, which is this se. So in order to be able to do this effectively, we've got to know some grammar. El sujeto. The subject of a sentence is who or what is doing the action. Sometimes it's implied and not stated. Subject and verb always agree. So one of the problems that Spanish students have is that they start left to right and they want the subject to come first. And so when they see something like le at the beginning, they want to start with a third person subject like him or he or she, etc. In Spanish, because we put our objects before verbs, then sentence order is different when we have objects in Spanish. So always, 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 no matter what, look at the verb. Look at the verb. The verb ending always positively has the subject of the sentence in it. That's why we've been learning all these stupid verb endings in the present, in the past, in the future, etc. Okay? So serví means I served. So I know that the subject is yo, and that's why I'm saying right here it's an implied subject. So yo serví el café a mi hermana. Now remember, when we have an indirect object, like I'm serving the coffee, the direct object, for my sister, then I always have to use an indirect object pronoun in Spanish. This is not the same as English. This is very different. We have to say the her. I served the coffee to my sister. To who? To her. Okay? Yo me cepillé el pelo esta mañana. We have a stated subject, yo. I brushed, right? Notice that the verb ending is going to agree with the subject, okay? Yo cepillé el pelo. I brushed hair. Whose hair did I brush, right? I brushed it for myself. In other words, it was on my body. Me cepillé el pelo esta mañana. Pronombres reflexivos y de objeto indirecto. Both reflexive and indirect object pronouns are used to state to whom or for whom something is being done. You can either do something for someone else or you can do something for yourself. And it's really not that different if you look up here, right? We have le and les and say, but all of the other pronouns are the same. So let's go back here. Le serví el café a mi hermana. This is not a reflexive verb because the subject and the object are different. I served coffee to her. Yo me cepillé el pelo. I brushed. I'm the one doing the brushing, and I'm the one receiving the brushing, so that is a reflexive verb. Pronombres de objeto directo. Direct object pronouns are used to replace the direct object of the sentence to avoid redundancy. The direct object of the sentence is what or who is directly affected by the verb. So, le serví el café. What did I serve? I served the coffee. Yo me cepillé el pelo. What did I brush? I brushed the hair. Those are the direct objects, directly related to the verb. Answer the questions below and complete sentences using double object pronouns. So this is the first thing I want you to do, okay? And hopefully you've watched the videos on the exercises on the super site. Hopefully you've listened to Professor Gomez before you can come back and do this later, okay? Identify the subject. ¿Quién te sirvió la ensalada? Who's the subject? Really, the subject is quién, right? Who served? Who served? Okay? Subject is quién. Identify the direct object. What's the direct object? What are we serving, or what did who serve? La ensalada, correct? Identify the indirect or reflexive pronoun. So who is that salad being served to? I can see it right here, te. Who served you? Okay, so we have the indirect object, and then I'm going to say that that's te. Okay, so that's just for identifying. Okay, now answer the question. Answer the question using double object pronouns and changing the verb form if you need to. ¿Quién te sirvió la ensalada? So who normally serves salad? Okay, we'll say it's, oops, no me. El camarero, the waiter, sirvió la ensalada. Who did he serve it to? He served it to me. Now, the only thing wrong with answering it this way is that I just asked you, ¿Quién te sirvió la ensalada? So do I really want to say the waiter served me the salad? I want to get rid of this, la ensalada. And I want to put my direct object pronoun there. So I'm always going to have indirect, direct, ID. It's always going to go in that order. El camarero me la sirvió. Okay? So I don't want to go through all of these because I went through a bunch of homework assignments. I want to see what you can do with this as you answer. Let's look at the second section here. Paso dos. One of you will be the cliente, one the camarero. Okay? Remember that if you are in a restaurant, normally you're going to use the usted form. So I want you to use the usted form throughout. Okay? Hola, buenas tardes. Buenas tardes, ¿qué tal? ¿Puede usted decir el menú del día? Tell me el menú del día. Claro. I'll tell it to you now. So I have the I tell part. So what am I going to say? I'm going to say, here I'm going to say el menú, right? That's what I'm going to tell. El menú. And who am I going to tell it to? I'm going to tell it to le because it's usted. Okay? But I can't lay low, remember? So I say se lo digo ahora. Okay? Usted recomienda? Recommend it to me. Okay. What are we recommending? Let's look here. Para empezar, tenemos un entremés. That's what we have. Okay. Un entremés. So it's going to be singular and masculine. Oops. And who am I going to recommend it to? Do you recommend it to me? ¿Me lo recomienda? Okay. So keep doing that part as a conversation in the usted part. For paso tres, tú estás buscando una casa para comprar. These are situations, okay? Tú estás buscando una casa para comprar. Encuentras una casa muy barata, muy bonita y en un área muy buena de la ciudad. ¿Qué haces? What are you going to do in that situation? Well, I'm going to buy it for myself, okay? Me la compro. Say these out loud to yourself so that it starts making sense to put them first. But I buy, there's the verb, I buy. What do I buy? It, the house, singular and feminine, for myself. Me la compro. Okay? So that's what I want you to do. I'm hoping that all of this work will really make these make some more sense to you.